Hello, Serge here from the back porch. I recently did a daily about from Randy where he talked about he was underturning in his backswing and it was giving him swing problems, and then right after Randy, Joe came in and mentioned that he had the same problem, but he was hitting his irons good and not his wood. So I made it a double lesson in that. I spoke about all the issues of what underturning can cause in terms of even hitting pulls to coming under and hitting slices, under releasing with your right hand, lower hand, and slicing. And then I discussed the issue about Joe. If he can hit all the clubs except his woods, they were likely way too long, and I did something on that. Well, right after that, Kevin McGarrahan came in and made a comment. And as you all know, I love to pass on the things that y'all are experiencing and feeling, because I think in many cases the way you all say it, think it and feel it can probably help most of you more than a lot because of the fact that it's what you all are feeling. And what am I trying to always get you to do? I'm trying all of you to get to sense and feel things more and try to take mechanics out of it. And so even though I think I explain things pretty well, I think sometimes y'all simplify it maybe even more, or at least it's another point of view that can really add something to the discussion. So Kevin came in and he said, I used to consistently have the same problem, but much less these days. I corrected it by doing three things. The same problem was slicing the ball, and most likely because of not making enough turn and all the other issues. So he says Kevin did three things. Number one, I love this one, gripping down on my driver to 43 inches, corresponding amounts on other woods. All my clubs are too long at present. And that's the first thing I hit when I brought up the issue about the possibility of what's wrong with Joe's clubs. In terms of why he couldn't hit the driver 3-wood and 5-wood. So Kevin choked down on him. Number two, making sure that I set the same wrist angle with my longer clubs that I do with the shorter ones. In parentheses, he says, only one swing for all clubs. I'm sure many will disagree with this, but it works for me. Again, I believe that is absolutely correct. I try to make the setup and swing with all the clubs, and when I set up to a golf club, and I pretty much hear, as the clubs get longer and I get farther away, the club has a different lie angle, and it pretty much keeps my wrist angle or the angle from my wrist to the shaft about the same with all the clubs. And then from there, I try to lift them up all the same way, swing the same place, make all the same moves. As I say, you know the Sergism, you've heard it, but I'll say it again. The ball doesn't know what club you're holding. And so when they ask me about does their wife or their children swing the same way, I just come back and say, well, as we know, the ball doesn't know what club you're holding, and the ball doesn't know who's holding the club. So it's about the same all the way. So I really think I try to make the same setup and swing with all the clubs. The different lengths and lies of each club helps make it that I can stay in that same setup with my arms hanging relatively in the same place. And number three, Kevin came back and said, making the same swing with the driver and longer woods that I do with the shorter clubs. And then he says, gripping down and setting the same wrist angle are fairly easy. Number three can be more difficult. For that, I make a few swings with my 7-iron, my favorite club, and then I try to make an identical swing with my driver. I go back and forth between the two until I'm swinging both the same. I've never done this on the course, taking 2 practice swings with a 7-iron and then 2 with my driver, and then swinging through the ball. In most cases, except when I have my senior moments, my drive then goes pretty straight. That's a good idea that you did the 7 to the driver. What you're probably experiencing, Kevin, and anybody that has problems saying that I don't think I swing my driver the same way, is because of the fact that the longer club with the greater angle means, A, being longer, you have to have more engaged, activated, energized, athletically ready grip and hands and arms to swing that longer, heavier club up. And because it's flatter and when I start to lift it up, and then when I transition coming into the ball and the club lays off a little bit and comes in, and then when I swing back to the forward swing, you have to have more energy. You have to be, your muscles have to be more active, engaged, energized, as I said, athletically ready. It's no different than if you take a little league baseball bat, say that's a 27, 28, or 29 ouncer, and you swing that bat, and then you stand up there with a Major League Baseball bat that's 36 ounces or whatever or more, and try to swing that bat, you can't, to swing them hopefully about close to the same speed, you're going to have a little bit firmer grip to control that heavier, longer, bigger bat, and to swing it, to have to control it and swing it anywhere near as fast as you can swing it. So that means the same thing applies in golf. Now, most of the time, that becomes, I guess, an internally instinctive thing to do that the brain automatically, once it feels the longer, heavier weight, should start increasing the grip pressure a little bit, where both hands are equal, and the energy that you have to apply to lift it in a good pace of your swing, for a good pace and a good timing of your swing, to lift it up, to transition, and then swing up to the finish. All of that has to happen. Sometimes I just say to people, just imagine a bucket of balls over here. You have two equal-sized buckets, some of those big yellow ones like teachers have. If there was two buckets there, and the teacher said, walk up and pick up that bucket and carry it over there. Well, if you go to the bucket that's maybe only a third or half full, as you're walking to it, your brain is making some determination of how much readiness, energy, and everything else and strength you have to apply to lift that little bucket up, right? The same size bucket, a big bucket with just a few balls in it, versus a full bucket. It's going to say, whoa, this is heavy. I got to be ready. And you're going to go down. Your legs will be more energized. Your hands, your back will be more energized. You go down and everything, your whole body will have more energy, more athletically readiness, and more strength to lift the bigger one, as I just described with a Little League bat versus a Major League bat. Well, your wedges through your 7-irons are like swinging a Little League baseball bat, and once you start getting up to the fairway woods of the drivers, now you're swinging a Major League bat. And so your brain should automatically do that, but maybe for a while you might have to think about it. And so that's the even though my energy level and my strength level is changing, I'm always still trying to make the same setup and the same swing. And so the weight in the length of the club starts this internal activation, or upper activation, so to speak, of whatever I have to do to swing that longer, bigger club, because it takes more energy to swing a longer, bigger, heavier club. And especially as it's longer, it is not, you have to work harder to get it vertical, because it's got a longer, flatter angle to it. And so that's why hitting wedges, it's pretty easy to stand up a wedge. And every successive club, as it gets longer, you got to work harder at standing it up. And make sure your hands, and especially as I've always said, the lower hand is going to make that club, is going to keep that club going up, not let it rotate as you come up. And then in a forward swing, it's going to want to go more flat around, and you have to hit it and come up. Go back and those videos where I had the flower pot here and the stick in here, about where I talk about hitting it and hitting the tree and ricocheting or bouncing up the tree. Okay? So I think this is all about activation, energy, your body being in the right muscle tone and strength to swing your different length clubs, but always trying to make the same setup and the same swing. Okay? And so hopefully this is clearing things up for us. And so I think that the golf swing's a lot easier when I'm just trying to make the same swing with every club, when I'm just trying to hit a normal shot. So let's look at that and see if that doesn't help you. Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.